back here if anything goes wrong. And also for him, I mean, some of us were deeply involved with regards to the activities. When I say involved, we all were part of the day-to-day discussions of Emil Short Commission when it was sitting. And then he was, in fact, indicted, and it's still hanging around him. And so every allegation that is leveled against him should be taken seriously. I would be surprised that anyone, within probably security circles or even those who don't have too much knowledge in security, knowing that Ayawa's West Wagon was the mother of all election violence in this country. And yet, someone who was deeply involved is indicted, and everyone goes quiet. It means that it is actually a preparatory ground then, or it's a signal to say those who probably wouldn't want to sit aloof and watch when they are being attacked will want to take the laws into their own hands, and it might not augur well for all of us. So as far as I'm concerned, it is incumbent on the military high command, the President of the Republic. I doubt the President will talk, but the military should talk. It is important. One of their own who was deeply involved in Ayawa's West Wagon has again been indicted, has again been fingered for something dastardly that is likely to happen in Ashanti region. And we have heard persons relating to the incumbent government's party threatening hellfire in Ashanti region and in other places. I think that it's important that we have these discussions, and those who are planning to do bad things, we point them out and tell them that if you do it, you are going to be caught and punished. Lily.
When I was speaking to you, you made some stark revelations, especially... I
can hardly hear you, Lily.
Can you hear me now?
I can't hear you now. It was clearer.
Let me try one more time. Doc, can you hear me?
Go ahead. It's very faint, but I think I can manage.
Okay. So I was asking earlier when I spoke to you on radio for my TV audience who do not know, you made mention of some training of thugs, especially in Takwa and Siam. Can we then say that the various persons in government are complicit in this?
Your line is very... I can hardly hear you. It was louder, but I don't know why all of a sudden the voice is gone. Your voice is gone very low. So if you...
Okay, so let's restart the meeting. I'll come back to you shortly. So that's Dr. Adam Bona. Unfortunately, he's unable to hear me, but we'll still stay on the subject. Campaign team of the NPP flag bearer has rubbished and dismissed the claims by the NDC, questioning how just a military officer can rig the elections when all parties are represented. According to the Deputy Communications Director of the Baumia campaign, Abbar Yeboah Khomeini, who described the claims by the NDC as unfounded, he noted it is a reality that has dawned on the opposition party, hence the strategy to mobilize their supporters against the NPP's victory.
The claim, I would say simply, is fake, because anybody who has followed elections in Ghana would have no difficulty in admitting that the Electoral Commission of Ghana runs one of the most transparent and credible elections in the world, not just in Africa. And I'm struggling, and the Baumia campaign is struggling to understand how one military officer is capable of rigging elections in favor of the New Patriotic Party. That is not, something that can happen, because the political parties, independent election observers, are all involved in the process of our elections, right away from the printing of ballot boxes all the way to when the first ballot is cast, all the way to counting and declaration. At every stage of the electoral process, political parties are represented and they are free to exercise their views and make objections where necessary. So I cannot really understand that how an individual military officer is capable of rigging the election. Look, the reality is dawning on them. They're beginning to sense that Dr. Baumia and the NPP are going to win the election.
All right, so that was a conversation with Natalie Ford last night on News Tonight. Now, Executive Director of the Human Rights Reporters Ghana, Joseph Kombla Wemeka, has urged Ghana's security services to prioritize the protection of human rights ahead of the December 2024 elections. He emphasized the crucial role of security agencies in ensuring the safety and freedom of citizens, particularly journalists, during this critical period. Wemeka urged civil society organizations and the Ghana Journalists Association to collaborate with journalists to develop a comprehensive roadmap for promoting peaceful and credible elections. He stressed that a united front is necessary to address the discrepancies in the 2024 Provisional Voters Register and prevent potential electoral violence.
As a journalist, I dedicate my life into social activism and in order to correct those ills the society has thrown onto us and ensure that people are able to exercise their fundamental human rights, their dignities can be ensured, and in the end, everybody can live a normal life. So for me, that is the driving force, and I am ready and willing to go any extra mile to ensure that people's rights are protected, respected, and fulfilled. Envisioning my life touching the global arena or the global space has been my utmost joy or a driving force. And throughout my activism over a decade years ago, I have been able to touch lives. I founded the Human Rights Reporters Ghana. This is an initiative of young Ghanaian journalists, editors, lawyers, and human rights activists who have come together to help address issues of human rights violations to bring the country closer to achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals and the Agenda 2063. So the organization formed officially in the year 2019 has really done so much. We have worked to help children, to fight the right of children, women, girls, and even the minority group. Not just in Ghana, we work globally around the globe, and that's how come we happen to gain that kind of recognition. So it is not to show off, but to say that yes, we are actually doing something right. That is why we are being recognized even on the global level, putting Ghana on the global map.
Ghana Persons with Disabilities Entrepreneurs and Business Association have expressed disappointment with the policies in the manifestos of both the NPP and the NDC for persons living with disability. Despite policy proposals like tertiary scholarships for persons with disability and a review of the Disability Act captured in the manifestos of both the NPP and the NDC respectively, the association says their concerns are not addressed adequately. Victoria Bugri has the details.
In an interview with GHOne News, the president of the Ghana Persons with Disabilities Entrepreneurs and Business Association, Richard Ofori, expressed concerns about the exclusion of persons with disabilities from key national decision-making processes. He criticized both major political parties, the NPP and the NDC, for failing to consult with the persons with disabilities during election years, instead making decisions without their inputs. Richard Ofori highlighted that the majority of persons with disabilities in Ghana are disinterested in formal education due to systemic barriers. He also noted that members of their association face significant challenges in securing jobs within the formal sector.
These two policies is not something new. It's something that the 2006 Disability Act already stated. If you're talking of disability issue, it's not just you say if you come you're going to do free education for the tertiary or blah blah for the disability. The educational system in Ghana is it even disability friendly? Let me tell you, Ghana penny for no sebi omu trimu yedin omu sheda ba ye beboa me do election and no mu shebo ebono ewo constitution no deda. They should go back to the constitution.
Additionally, a member of the association, Joseph Amudu, is calling for a constitutional mandate that will require both the government and private sector to employ a specific percentage of persons with disabilities annually.
A lot of our guys, our colleagues are educated people. But ask yourself, are they being employed? When they go, do they see them? No. So it is, if they want something better to do, then they should bring it into the constitution that when you have a company, you have to employ at least some percentage within your company. That one will be better. That one, it is not there. I'm giving to you if you want to do something. That one will help us than the education, because education is just everybody everybody that can go.
Our political analyst, Dr. Berard Tutu has described the Ashanti region as a battleground for political parties, especially for both the NPP and the NDC. His comments comes after the NPP's flag bearer spent 15 days campaigning in that region and cautioned the party to be more proactive, as all parties are eyeing that region. Dr. Bohine advised the NPP to be more proactive in their dealings in the Ashanti region.
I can say for a start that Ashanti region more or less has become the battleground for all the leading, political parties and their candidates. And so I am not so much surprised that the flag bearer for the NPP, is spending so much time in Ashanti region. Again, it was also a bit clear that, apathy was against the NPP in the Ashanti region. And the fact still remains that NPP cannot do below 70%. And so it is very important that the strategic team of the NPP, has identified, these two factors and have actually encouraged the flag bearer to spend more time to have interaction with the good people of Ashanti region. I think that the candidate for the NDC, the flag bearer, GHOne, is also spending some time in the Ashanti region, more or less, is becoming a battleground. And because the vote for the from Ashanti region for each of the candidates is very, very important. Unfortunately, it happens to be the stronghold of the ruling NPP. And so it means that there is more work for the NPP to be done.
That was the voice of Dr. Berard Tutu. He's a political analyst in that conversation with Natalie Ford last night. That's it for Election Hub. Welcome back. This is Newsroom here on GHOne TV. My name is Lily Mohammed. Let's talk about road safety. According to the latest reports by the National Road Safety Authority, there has been a 14% drop in road traffic fatalities compared to last year. This reduction in deaths is a significant achievement, especially considering the increase in road use across the world. This was revealed during the 2024 World Day of Remembrance for Road Traffic Victims, a solemn occasion observed worldwide to honor those lost to road crashes and to stand in solidarity with their families and communities.
Every year, approximately 1.2 million people are killed and more than 50 million sustain injury from road crashes globally. Many of these deaths and injuries occur in low and middle income countries like Ghana. The World Day of Remembrance for Road Traffic Victims has therefore been set aside each year to remember those who have been killed and seriously injured by road crashes and to acknowledge the sufferings of all affected victims, families, and communities. This year's event was also used to release the 2023 Accra Road Safety Reports. Speaking at the ceremony, Acting Director General of the National Road Safety Authority, Engineer David Adonting, called on females to impress on their male counterparts to take it easy on the roads. He also stressed on the need to put a spotlight on the reduction of traffic speeds, which has the potential to prevent carnage on our roads.
Women, if you are here, take up the advocacy. Because when you speak, we men will listen. Most of the problems we are seeing there are as a result of men's behavior, our arrogance, our pride. The women are not dying like we are dying, the men, because they are very careful. Madam, is that not it? They are very careful. The only difficulty is that when you want space in front of them, they don't give you.
A representative of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, who spoke on behalf of the Mayor of Accra, advised motorists to observe road safety protocols as the festive season beckons.
I will take this opportunity to charge all road users to abide by the safety rules. Drivers must desist from drink driving and reduce speeds. Pedestrians are also cautioned to use provided walkways and cross the roads at pedestrian crossings. This will help promote safety as we commute within the city space.
According to the Accra Safety Reports, which was launched, road traffic deaths in Accra dropped from 102 in 2022 to 88 in 2023, representing 14% drop. The event also saw a solemn candlelight moment for persons who died through road crashes.
Now, vehicle users who ply the Spintex, East Legon and Tertiary roads can now heave a sigh of relief as President Akufo-Addo has commissioned the FLP Interchange. The over 285 million cedis project is expected to ease heavy traffic congestion on that stretch, making it easier for commuters who use the Tema, Spintex and East Legon areas. There's more in the following report.
The FLP Interchange is a two-tier structure featuring north-south flyover connecting the Bemakam bypass to Boundary Route and redesigned roundabouts to optimize traffic flow. For years, the FLP roundabout was notorious for its overwhelming congestion, with peak traffic exceeding 5,000 vehicles per hour. The completion of this project provides a long-awaited solution to the persistent problem. The project started in 2016 under the then John Mahama-led administration. Speaking during the ceremony here in Accra, President Akufo-Addo made a clarion call on the commuters and motorists to be cautious and join hands in safeguarding the access, ensuring that it serves its purpose for the long term.
Let us remember, this project is one among many. From the northern savannas to the southern coastlines, and from east to west, we're building a new Ghana. One where roads, bridges, schools and hospitals rise as symbols of a nation that works for everyone.
President Akufo-Addo also added that his administration has completed more interchanges, roads and bridges than any other administration under the Fourth Republic, which he says is his government's commitment to the road sector.
It's fitting then to acknowledge that this administration has constructed more roads and interchanges than any other in our nation's history. In the Greater Accra region alone, we have completed the Pokwase Interchange, Tema Motorway Interchange Phase 1, Lantam Interchange Phase 1, the East Legon Underpass, and today, this Flower Pot Interchange. Flower Pot Interchange is a legacy for future generations. I call on the Ministry of Roads and Highways, the newly established National Roads Authority, traditional rulers, commuters, and indeed all Ghanaians to join hands in safeguarding this asset, ensuring that it serves its purpose for the long term.
On his part, the Minister for Road and Highways, who also serves as MP for Bantama constituency, Francis Asenso Boakye, says the project will enhance economic activities and provide safer routes in the area.
Mr. President, we mark another significant milestone in the government's commitment to improving road infrastructure across the country. I am proud to be part of this bold solution, which should greatly enhance mobility and improve the quality of life for residents and travelers alike.
But how are Ghanaians reacting to this? Let's find out. Nana Amakwa is standing by with the thoughts and comments on all our social media pages. Nana, are people excited?
Let's see. When we move over to Facebook, Kobe says, Nana Addo, best president ever. God bless you. You also have TE. God bless Mahama for giving us this great project. Olivia says, great vision by JDM. Good Akufo-Addo completed this project. Then Monica says, John Mahama is really a visionary leader. It took Nana 8 years to complete it. Failed to mention him, including the news agencies. Then we have Amin. Commentators, please, let's put party politics aside and hope and pray, work more hard for the development of our dear country. Remember, governance is a continuation, irrespective of who started and who is finishing. Peter says it's good to have continuity. When we move over to X, Nubian says, why is the media silent on the video that captured Nana Addo taking bribe yesterday at that same event? Why is the media not interested in that video? How do you know it's a bribe he took? When we see Don also says, please, check the cost. Well, that's what you had to tell us within the short time that we have. My name is Nanama Akwa. Lily, let's hope that presidents will continue other presidents' work so that it will be a nice, smooth transition moving forward. My name is Nanama Akwa. Back over to you.
Well, they say governance is continuing, right? Thank you very much, Nanama Akwa, for those thoughts and comments on social media. It's now time for the business brief. Now, consumers of electricity should prepare for more power outages, as indications suggest that additional independent power plants may shut down due to the Electricity Company of Ghana's significant debt obligations. The Asogli Power Plant and IPP ceased operations on October 8, 2024, citing ECG's failure to honor its payment obligations, which totaled $259 million as of September 2024. This development may exacerbate the existing power outage challenges in the country, where businesses and households have already experienced significant disruptions. Well, let's find out what the real situation is. Joining us for a conversation is the Chief Executive Officer of the Independent Power Producers, Dr. Elikplim Kwabla Apetogbo. Doc, thank you very much for joining us. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
In October, Sunon Asogli was shut down. Is it still shut down? Are we back on the grid?
Yeah, Sunon Asogli is still idle. We are not working.
What is the state of it now? What's been the posturing of government after its shutdown?
We've actually been following up on government for our expected payments. Is still not coming. No reason has been assigned. So for us, it's gotten to a point that we can simply not operate if we do not receive the money. And it is not a punishment to government, but it's just the real situation that we do not have the required working capital to work with.
Doc, we're also learning that more IPPs are likely to shut down in the coming days. Can you confirm or deny otherwise?
That is the reality of the situation. It's a general problem. The whole of the year, we receive less than 30% of our invoices, and which is a very critical situation. If nothing is done by the end of the week, next week, I can tell you that 3 more IPPs will shut down. They simply can't operate.
But how much are these IPPs owed, if you can give us a figure?
Well, like I said, I cannot tell the exact figure, but I said most of us receive less than 30% of our monthly invoices, which is usually in the range of around $30 million, from 25 to 30 million thereabout a month. So we can work that out.
What is this likely to impact on our energy supply?
Definitely, supply will be reduced, and the impact will result maybe having a load shedding. That is the direct impact. But on our side, as investors, too, we are under pressure to make repayment of our debts. So it's two sides. We are also struggling to ensure we honor our obligation, because it comes with penalty for defaulting.
Now, Doc, with some of your colleagues who are threatening to shut down, is government aware of this? Has there been any communication whatsoever?
I have disclosed this publicly. Let me say it's not a threat, but let's put it that is the reality of the situation, not a threat. A threat could mean something different. It's just practically impossible for this plant to continue operation.
Okay, Doc, thank you very much for that revelation.
You're welcome.
So that's Dr. Eliklim Kwabena Apetogbo, and just so you heard it, more IPPs are going to shut down. But what is the likely impact on you and I? Joining us via Zoom is an energy analyst and a lecturer at the Institute of Oil and Gas Studies at the University of Cape Coast, Dr. Shafik Sandu. Doc, thank you very much for joining us. I'm sure you heard the conversation with Dr. Apetogbo. He says more IPPs are going to shut down in the coming days. Already, Sunan Asogli is off. What does this mean? You're an analyst.
Thank you for having me, and good afternoon to you as well. As he rightly said, I mean, most of them have gotten to their credit limits. They've been operating on debt. If you look at their capital structure, they have equity and debt. They borrowed some of the monies they are using to also operate, and they are finding it difficult to meet some of those obligations. So in business wise, they are finding it difficult to also maintain the contractual agreements they have with their partners. So or is idle, and 3 other power plants are coming on to also join Sonny Asugli by becoming idle. It means that the current power rationing or power outages that we are experiencing in Accra and some other major consuming regions will escalate if nothing is done.
But Doc, if I look at the situation in the country currently, last night I had power outage. Is it likely to worsen in the coming days?
Yes, for sure, because power supply and demand must always meet before we can say that there's stable power. So the power that is being consumed must always be equal to the power that is generated. So in this instance, if there's more demand for power and the supply plant or the power plants are unable to come online, definitely there will be a deficit. And that's what we describe as a power outage, right? So now the existing thermal plants that are supplying power are shutting down. So continuously, the supply will be less than the demand. So automatically we'll be experiencing outages. Even the existing, it doesn't even matter in the power dynamics, even a small shortage in supply can affect the whole system. So we should be preparing for the worse situation going forward. And then I think government, there are already some looming perceptions that are coming up. And with what the CEO is saying is adding up to the reality on the ground. Government had to also come out and actually make a firmer statement and make a much more clearer statement, a threat, or is actually going to be a worse situation going forward, or the next few days going forward.
The implementation of the cash waterfall mechanism has not lived up to its expectation.
Yes, the network was not too good, but I think the way forward, one of the best way forward is actually to allow what we call transparency and accountability with the way the cash waterfall mechanism has been, because as you can see, the IPPs are a major stakeholders in power generation in Ghana, and they are actually being paid out of the cash waterfall mechanism. Mm-hmm. If they are not having representation on the cash waterfall mechanism, it is a big problem. It's the cash waterfall mechanism operations and its opacity has been one of the major problems of the power sector till date. So if IPPs are the key suppliers of power in Ghana and they are not part of the cash waterfall mechanism, they don't know how the monies are received, how they are being disbursed, it's a big problem. So the first solution or the first issue we need to talk about going forward is to ensure that these IPPs are part of the cash waterfall mechanism committee. They are also aware of how much is being received into the mechanism and what they need to expect or what they will be expecting. So, and we've talked about this over and over and over again. And I've read two of the major political parties' manifestos, and I've seen from the NDC side that they are proposing that if they are given the mandate in 2025 going forward, they would be ensuring that the IPPs are a key part or key players in the cash waterfall mechanism management. They are made substantive members of the cash waterfall mechanism operation or committee, which I think is the best solution so far, because if they are aware of how much is being received, at least their expectations of what they need to expect would be met. That's one. Two, they can use what is being received and what is projected to be received as a basis to plan as businessmen, because they are they are a company. They need to also know what is being received, how much they are expecting, and how best they can also plan and know that, within this month, I'm expecting government to pay me $1 million, $2 million, so that it can aid them in planning and also procuring their operations. And most especially paying their debts, because they also had to go and take loans to actually come and operate. So all these things, transparency, their involvement and participation in the cash waterfall mechanism will be the best going forward.
Thank you very much, as always. That's Dr. Shafik Suleiman. He is an energy analyst and a lecturer with the University of Cape Coast. That's it for the Business Brief. It's time to bring you the latest updates in the world of sport.
Now, many thanks for joining me here on Sports Brief. My name is Monica Bukari. Now, former Ghana Under-17 coach Lai Kenson has expressed strong support for Black Stars head coach Otuado, urging the Ghana Football Association GFA to resist calls for a change in leadership following the team's failure to qualify for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations AFCON. Lai Kenson, speaking in an interview, warned that replacing Otuado and the technical team at this stage could lead to further setbacks for the national team. The Ghana Football Association's Executive Council is set to meet today to evaluate the team's performance and discuss the way forward. Now, flag bearer for the National Democratic Congress (NDC), John Dramani Mahama, has described Black Stars' recent failure to qualify for the Africa Cup of Nations (AFCON) as a significant embarrassment to the nation. Speaking at a rally during his ongoing tour of the Eastern region, Mahama expressed his disappointment with the national football team's performance, emphasizing the embarrassing nature of the current state of the Black Stars.
Mr. Nana, every Yesika Sem ye Bibia say, Nanya Black Stars. Black Stars. You're quite your mobile football. 20 years and ne Afibia, yeah, African Cup of Nations are your call. Emre Bay African Cup of Nations, your call. And so, Afi, dear Black Stars, Atetia Pansang. Ezu, when a decline in 20 years, a Black Stars almost called African Cup of Nations. I bet you in Guasiamai. Every second, Osha Black Stars are yet to make finals. Cup no any teaming fight every 1981. And so your ball bono na encrofe ni jeho. So I feel there, ya sa. Obiaba etimi beshe. Ezu. Nina eye senya bibia say woman mu eno na actually Black Stars sponsor.
Black Stars head coach Otuado has called for a peaceful election as Ghana nears the polls in December. Addressing the media in his post-match press conference after Ghana's 2-1 defeat to Niger, Otuado urged the media to use their influence responsibly in shaping narratives around Ghana's football, particularly during these challenging times.
Before I finish, I know a lot of questions will come. I would like us to use this opportunity to pray for peaceful elections. I don't want this football game to have an effect on this. It's very, very important. We have a peaceful country. We should leave it like that, no matter the outcome. And then surely, let's pray for peace in Niger and pray for peace in Sudan.
Tennis, Rafael Nadal suffered a defeat to Van Bottich in the Davis Cup finals in what was the last match of the Spaniard's career. Van Bottich seized to a 6-4, 6-4 win to put Netherlands 1-0 ahead in their quarter-final tie against Spain. It was only Nadal's second Davis Cup loss in singles, with Ada coming on his debut against Czech Republic way back in 2004. This was only Nadal's 8th official tournament this season, while his only singles match since the Olympics in July came in an exhibition event in Saudi Arabia last month. However, the 22 Grand Slam champion says he wants to be remembered as a good person.
The way I said, the titles, the numbers, I mean, are there. So people probably know that, but the way that I would like to be remembered more is like a good person from a small village in, I mean, as I said, from a small village in Mallorca that I had the luck that I had my uncle that was a tennis coach in my village when I was a very, very small kid, and I had a great family that had the chance to support me in every single moment. No, just a kid that follow their dreams, worked as hard as possible to be when I am today. And at the end of the day, being honest, a lot of people work hard, a lot of people tries their best every single day, but I am one of these that I have been very lucky that the life gave me the opportunity to live unforgettable experiences because of tennis. No? So I just want to be remembered as a good person and a kid that followed their dreams and achieved more than what I ever dreamed.
Join us for more sports here on GHOne TV and Star FM at 1 p.m. My name is Monica Bukai. Do stay tuned. We have GHOne up next.
Now, rising Afrobeats powerhouse Lade envisions her latest single, One by One, featuring Nigerian music icon Olamide. The collaboration serves as the lead-up to the anticipated project, offering fans a first glimpse into evolving artistry and dynamic storytelling. Lade's sharp lyricism and Olamide's energy on One by One is expected to become an anthem for ambition, resilience, and self-confidence, rivaling adulthood and a scam. The track captures Lade's drive to stay true to her roots while breaking new ground as she builds toward her next major release. For Lade's One by One, the One by One is a strategic and symbolic entry point, setting the tone for a project that's set to push boundaries and highlight her depth as a vocalist and songwriter. Emerging as one of Afrobeat's most compelling new voices, Lade is known for her unique lyrical prowess and distinct sound that resonates deeply with a growing global audience. Let's now head to the foreign front. Now, U.S. President Joe Biden has agreed to give Ukraine anti-personnel landmines, a move seen as Russian troops who have been steadily advancing in Ukraine's east in recent times. The official, who was speaking on the condition of anonymity, said such mines would be delivered soon, and Washington expected that they would be used on Ukraine's territory. The official said Ukraine was also committed to not using the mines in densely populated areas. Separately, the U.S. State Department closed its embassy in Kiev after it received specific information of a potential significant air attack on November 20. Out of an abundance of caution, the embassy will be closed and embassy employees are being instructed to shelter in that place. The U.S. Embassy recommends U.S. citizens be prepared to immediately shelter in the event an air alert is announced. Overnight, both Ukraine and Russia reported major drone attacks on their respective territories. And so that's it for the news. My name is Lily Muhammad. For more news updates, kindly log on to starfm.com.gh. Do have a great afternoon.